Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You are all welcome to the ETE Talks. Right now, I don't want to take much of your time. I'm going to introduce our forerunner tonight. Her name is Coach Rua Mashumba. She has a beautiful topic, Becoming Unstoppable. We are going to learn a lot. Can you please give her a round of applause as she comes?
Evening, ladies and gentlemen. My topic for today is becoming unstoppable. What does it take to become truly unstoppable? Before we go there, what does it mean to be unstoppable? Being unstoppable means having the drive, the determination, the perseverance to power through any obstacle in order to achieve your goals. Who wants to become unstoppable here? Excellent. Okay, I'm here to give you 5 strategies on how to become unstoppable. These strategies are universal, and you can use them in any area of your life, be it growth, personal growth, finances, career. So the first strategy on how to become unstoppable is self-belief. You need to have an intense belief in yourself and your ability to achieve your goals. Earl Nightingale says, you are what you think about. So what you think is what you become, right? So you need to have the determination and the drive to power through those obstacles in order to achieve, and that is how you become unstoppable. Being unstoppable is about embracing challenges and obstacles. It's not about physical strength, it's not about talent. It's about digging deep within and working towards achieving your goals. You have to have a belief in yourself in order for you to achieve extraordinary things. The second strategy to becoming unstoppable is to embrace failure. Failure in our society at the moment is seen as something that should be avoided at all costs. But failure is something that makes you grow, that makes you stronger. Every time you do something and fail, you learn something from it. So failure is all about growth. Failure is a natural part of the journey to success. There is nobody who has succeeded today that hasn't failed a lot of times before. So what's important is when you fail, you need to dust yourself off, get up, and keep on walking. If you fall 7 times, make sure you get up 8 times. So being unstoppable is about embracing failure and focusing on the bounce back. The third strategy to becoming unstoppable is networking. You need to surround yourself with a dream team. A dream team is people who inspire you, people who motivate you, people who support you, people who encourage you, people who believe in you. There's a saying, if you want to soar with the eagles, you shouldn't swim with the ducks. So you need to surround yourself with people who are like-minded. If you want to be an eagle, fly with the eagles. Helen Keller says, alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much. So basically, you cannot become unstoppable if you're flying alone. The fourth strategy to becoming unstoppable is to embrace change. Change is a natural part of life. Things are always changing. There is no constant. The best way to embrace change is to 1, prepare for change, and 2, learn to respond rather than to react to change. The best way to prepare for change is to place survival measures. When we're talking about survival measures, we're talking about things like making sure your car is insured, making sure you've got a will, putting your things in order. If you're a business person, you're making sure that you have enough cash flow to tide you through the times when things are not good. If you're a farmer, you know, they say you plant, you reap, and then you store for the winter. So being prepared To embrace change also means preparing, being prepared. Life has its seasons. There's always times when things will be up and there will be things that are down. So you have to make sure that you balance that and you prepare for change. However, change is not predictable most of the time. So when we say change is not predictable, it means you must be able to respond to change as opposed to reacting to change. So when changes happen, you need to look for the opportunity that's available in that change. So take, for example, you're a farmer and you are farming something perishable like tomatoes, right? You take your tomatoes to Mbari Musika and then you realize that the market is flooded with cheap tomatoes from Zambia or someplace like that. You can't just hold on to your tomatoes. You have to find a way of embracing that change. Maybe you decide to make tomato puree or you dry the tomatoes. Change is good in that it makes you innovative. So if you do that, you'll find other ways of becoming more profitable and so forth. So embracing change is about looking for an opportunity when change is unexpected. The fifth, we are on number 5, right? Yeah. The fifth area of becoming unstoppable is, the fifth and most important actually area of becoming unstoppable is your health. We need to focus on being healthy. That means getting enough sleep, eating nourishing foods, staying hydrated. All these things make us have more energy. When we have more energy, we are able to respond to the challenges in life better, right? So if you have if you have a good night's sleep, you wake up with more energy. You think more clearly. So the way you look after yourself, health-wise, we're talking about emotions as well. We're talking about emotional health, we're talking about mental health, and we're talking about your general health. So it's important to focus on making sure you are healthy. And those are the 5 strategies to becoming unstoppable. I hope that you guys will work on them and you'll become a better person. Thank you very much.
Welcome to the International Coaching and Mentoring Bookstore, which is an online and physical global bookstore providing a diverse and extensive collection of books from around the world. Catering to readers of all ages and interests, the International Coaching and Mentoring Bookstore is more than just a retail space, but a cultural hub where readers can explore the world through literature.
Thank you so much, Coach Ruba. How men are going to become unstoppable? And this imagines you have heard what she said, right? And they are going to work on it. Thank you so much. So, without taking much of your time, I'm going to introduce our main speaker tonight. Your name is Yvonne Chido Mayaya. Okay. Sorry. Yes, Coach Yvonne may come. Thank you.
I have a new surname. You said it's Mayaya. I love it. I love it. Okay, is everybody happy? Yes. Wow, Coach, you're amazing. You peeped through my presentation. That was amazing. Thank you so much for quite a nice presentation. So plus this 5, today you're going to go home with 10 strategies because I've got my 5 here. All right, that's amazing. So just to warm up, because I want to see smiling faces. There's a mentality that I want each and everyone to have, but I want you to have it in the good direction. I was going through my Facebook timeline, and I came across a headline from B Metro. And the headline was this: there's a man who divorced his wife because He had dreamt the wife cheating on him. So, I mean, I'm talking of somebody with faith. You've got the faith that my dream is going to come true. So I want you to have faith that whatever dream that you have, whatever idea that you have will come true, but not in this sense though, but in the positive sense. Okay, so my topic today is breakthrough your way to success. I'm not sure kuti tiri kuwirirana here panapa with the laptop. All right, it's okay. I think tukutopesana pa remote. All right, so I'm going to start with a story. That's Jane's story of success. So Jane. Haya, ndokudzokera mashure ndi. All right, perfect. So Jane is like me and you. I'm sure a lot of us want to be great speakers in front of people, right? So this was Jane's story. Jane wanted to be a great public speaker, as she admired a lot of people that she would see either on television or even on other gatherings, being able to speak, especially to influential people, but not being able to know how that is done. So the first step that Jane had to take was to look for somebody who was going to help her through. But remember, this is somebody who had low self-esteem. And the low self-esteem was influenced by the background. She grew up in a poor background. So because of that, she just felt like maybe I'm not able to stand in front of people and begin to speak. But the surprising thing is that Jane was somebody who was who could speak effortlessly in front of people, but she didn't know. She didn't know because she had never tried, right? So the breakthrough came, like I said, that she had to look for a mentor. The breakthrough came when she attended this conference that was, and she met a lady who was actually the speaker of the day at that moment. And she had to conquer her fears. She met up with Susan and she asked Susan, you know what? Can you teach me how it is done? Because you were able to speak in front of great dignitaries and you were not afraid. You were confident and people were actually agreeing with you because you were excellent at it. So Susan, being a good person, she said, it's fine, Jane. I can become your mentor. I can mentor you to become a great person. And wherever Susan would go and present, Jane would go along until she got the platforms to actually begin speaking in front of people. And right now, as we speak, Jane, there is no speaking engagement that Jane goes to that pays something less than 2,000 USD. So what am I saying? Even after, being paid such an amount of money, she's still under the mentorship of Susan, which is a good thing because you don't abandon your mentors just because you've become, good or maybe better than them, but you also begin to learn through experience, isn't it? So I'm going to talk about 5 breakthrough steps to success. So I'll just list them, then I'll explain later. So the first one we've got discovering yourself. Coach, you said what, your first one? I think they work hand in hand. Self-belief, you see. Discover yourself. You cannot believe in yourself if you don't know yourself, right? So it is important for us to know that who is Coach Yvonne, right? Who's Coach Ruva? What is it that she's been mandated to do? A lot of us, I'm sure you have heard of the gospel of know your purpose. I'm sure a lot of people, a lot of motivational speakers are talking about you knowing your purpose. And at times if you ask them, okay, what is the purpose? What is your purpose? Even after telling you which purpose they are talking about, they might not even be able to explain but they understand that everything begins to make sense when you understand the kind of a person that you are or the person that you've been mandated to be. I love this philosophy, the Ikigai philosophy, which talks about the reason for existence. So when you know the reason why you are existent, it becomes easier for you to be able to do whatever it is that you want to do. And you won't need to put much effort when it comes to, when you know yourself, because it just flows through you. Right. Then the second one is take the first bold step. Take the first bold step. Since I said I'm going to explain one by one, let me just fast track those ones. Then the third one, like Jane, who had to look for Susan, please do find a mentor. It's very important. It's very important. Then the fourth one is disconnect from negative people. I'm sure Coach Ruva highlighted something along those lines. Your associations are very important. Then the fifth one, which is also my most important, is be consistent. Right. So let's explain. Come on, guys. I love people who... I know you're concentrating. So discover yourself. So like I was trying to explain, what is it that you want to become? And why do you want to become that? Right. So let's say you say, I want to become a doctor. The things that you need to consider around what you want to become is how passionate are you about it? And if you are to be paid less, will you still be passionate about what you want to do? Because that is what is important. A lot of us, when we see, if you're to ask somebody and that somebody says, I want to become a doctor because doctors get paid much money, then there is something wrong. Because if you get into the profession, becoming a doctor, and then you find that others, maybe somebody's a lawyer out there and they are actually being paid a lot of money, trust me, you run away from being a doctor and you start pursuing being a lawyer. This is the dilemma that we have as Africans, particularly in Zimbabwe. Tikaona kuti marana ari kunotsvaga hembe ari kubhadharwa mari yakawanda. We drop off whatever it is that we're good at. Maybe you're an artist, maybe you're a filmmaker. You stop being a filmmaker, which is something maybe that you're actually called to do, and then you start selling clothes. The moment that business, flourishes, or just cannot, maybe the market is filled with a lot of people that work at the same business. You think, you know what, it's no longer giving me money. What is the next thing that is giving people money? Maybe it's selling fish. You rush kunotengesa ove. Maybe it's kurima, because you kurima mushroom, like my oyster mushroom, you run there. Some people are making money through chickens. You want to try that. So the moment you do multiple things because you're pursuing money, money becomes more like your enslaver in a way. It's sort of like you're becoming enslaved by money instead of having money work for you, having money work for the dreams that you ought to achieve. Because the moment you buy into your dream and could see whatever that I need to achieve, yes, you will need finances, but the finances have to work in order to bring that dream to come true, not for you to chase something so that you can get money. I think that's the reason why a lot of people, we miss it and we think. I normally love giving an example, the example of Dr. Strive Masiwa. We talk of him more often, but he's somebody who saw a need. The idea of coming up with a wireless line it wasn't for, to say, I want to make money with this idea, but it was to bridge the communication gap, isn't it? To bridge the communication gap. So when you realize that there is a need that needs to be met, and you are the person rightfully for that thing, what gave him the persistence and the power and the fire to achieve his dream is because he understood that I am meant for this. Right. That's the discovering yourself that I was talking about. I am meant for this. If I don't do this, nobody else is going to come and do it. So that made him have the push. I'm sure if you have read the story, you understand that he even struggled with the government policies and things like that. But at the end of the day, he prevailed because it is something that was convicted inside of him that he had to achieve it. So money came afterwards, because when you see a need and you're meeting a person's need, you get paid for it. If you're sick and a doctor comes and treats you, the next thing that you think is, I feel indebted, I need to do something for this doctor. Right. So you get value after giving value, isn't it? So I think I was explaining, we have a solid reason. Like I said, $1 million follow a valuable idea, and a good motive gives you the energy to be the best at it. So your motive has to be well explained. Your motive has to be very clear. You just don't have to do things anyhow to say, maybe out of greed or something like that, because it's easier for you to fall when you're doing things with the wrong motive, unlike when you're doing things with the right motive. So step number 2, take the first bold step. I'm sure there's a timekeeper, right? You are a timekeeper, because I might even go and go and go. Take the first bold step, right? So I love this quote by Martin Luther King Jr. He said that faith is taking the first step even when you cannot see the whole staircase. So this is critical, taking the first step after discovering yourself. You know, this is what I've been mandated. A lot of people tend to get scared to start. So at the end of the day, they know what they're supposed to do. They know who they are. They know what they've been mandated to do. But this becomes their falling point. They're just afraid to take the first step. They don't have the audacity or the energy to do what it takes for them to start. So it is important. I love giving an illustration of a child, like a baby, when they are starting to walk. They take the first step, maybe they fall, right? They take maybe 1 or 2 steps. They find something that can support them. Up until they master the art of walking on their own, right? So this is something that we should also try to copy. I've realized that a lot of people, let's say they try the first time, they try the second time, possibly the third time, somebody's telling you, I'm quitting. Then you're asking, why are you quitting? You need to keep on doing. You need to keep on doing. They are quitting because they feel like, I can't, look, I've had a setback here, I had a setback here. Instead of correcting the setbacks, they're thinking, this thing is not for me, even if it's meant to be for them. So it's important for you to make sure that you take the first step, in, no matter how scared you are, take the first step. Then the second point, which says you cannot have perfection the moment you start something. Amen, my perfectionists. So we've got people who love to perfect things the first time. Like you want everything to be perfect, like on point, the first time you start something. Life is not like that. Because you can't be a professor just the time that you say, I'm now grade 1. You can only be a professor through a series of learning, right? So you cannot be perfect the moment you start doing something. That's the reason why we go through certain trainings, like what I'm doing right now. Maybe if you are to look for me after 10 years, I won't be the same speaker that I am today. You see, exactly. It's because you are perfecting as you go. So the moment you are afraid to start, the moment you are scared of, doing things, then, or maybe you're thinking, it's not yet. No, not yet. You will not do anything, especially if you want to be too perfect. You will not do anything. Pane akandinakidza akati symmetry yakazara nevanhu vane ma-great ideas. What made those ideas not to manifest mostly is because they wanted things to be perfect the first time they do it. And what is it that makes people want things to be perfect at the first time? Is because they are afraid of failing. She talked about failure being something that is supposed to make you grow. You fail, you rise up, you do something, you fail. You're continuously improving on the mistakes that you are making. Rather, I love to call it a setback. Maybe if we approach it that way, you won't see it as failure. You'll see it as something that needs improvement, isn't it? So I think it's important for us to know that just start, and when you start, if you see that things are not, improve, correct your mistakes and move on, right? So I said it's time for Zimbabwe to rise up. You know, I always love to refer to my country because I love my country so much, you know. The reason being that I believe in Zimbabwe we have bright minds, but we have bright minds that that when they encounter situations, it seems like they bury their brightness. So it's time for us to rise up. You know what it is that you can do in this nation. You know that you've got an idea that is very revolutionary, that if you are to implement that idea, hey, the whole nation will ask you, where were you? You need to rise up and start implementing. I always say, rise up and implement. By the way, I love minds that adapt to change. I love minds that embrace transformation, because it is only by transformation can we see a change. So chakaturaya ndechekuti we listen to the negative voices too much, more than we can listen to the ability that is within us. There is an illustration of an egg that says if an egg breaks from the inside, life begins. If an egg is broken by an outside force, then life is destroyed. So we need also to understand the fact that as much as we continue to listen to the negative environment that is around us, we might not be able to move forward. Anyway, so this is my quote, so you're allowed to quote it. Dreams are not achieved in your sleep, but when you are awake. So it's time for us to open our eyes and start doing it, right? We need to ensure, as long as you still have got your dream as a wish list, you're still asleep. If you're still wishing, you know what, I've got this idea, but you know, I don't know how to start it. Better look for somebody who can help you to start it than to have it as a wish over and over again. A wish will not come true until you take the initiative to make sure that you start, right? So have faith in your vision. Believe in yourself. She talked about believing in yourself and in the possibilities, and the universe will work to your favor. I don't know if you have ever noticed this. The moment you believe you can do it, you will actually do it. The moment you say, I can't do it, you will not make it. See, that's how, the universe, the environment, it hears the language that we emit. That's why we often hear people motivating us to arise in the morning and start speaking positive affirmations, because you're sending a language in the universe. You're sending a language that is supposed to regulate how your day is going to be like. So it is important to ensure that you believe in your vision and you believe in yourself. Find a mentor. So I love this illustration. There is a greater mentor stepping there. This one is a beginner starting, but there's somebody in the middle. So just because he has that one, it doesn't mean that one doesn't need that one, right? So maybe you might be at the level, the middle level. That does not mean you have arrived. You might have achieved one or two things. That does not mean you have reached a breakthrough point. You might need other people. I've got people who come to me and say, you know what, please teach us how to speak. Teach us how to do things. But that does not mean I don't need a mentor. I actually do have a mentor, Anonzi, Pastor Norton Kamwendo, if you know him. That's my mentor. So in as much as I'm pulling his hand, I'm also being pulled by somebody. So it is important, especially if you want to be great. Studies have shown that people like, we all know Thomas Edison, right? The one who invented the light bulb. He tried 1,000 times. 1,000. And he's one of the people that are considered to be people that have achieved greatly. But trust me, the potential that they used is less than 40%. The potential that is within them that they used is less than 40%. So if I'm to ask a question, I'll ask a question, how many percentage have you used as an individual? Maybe 0.01 or something like that. So we need to, there is so much that we can do if we put our mind to it. So much that we can do. So, like I was explaining, I think most of this I've talked about, that there's somebody who can actually do a better job than yourself, that you know very well. In this field, Guru Rimuno Murnonzi Atamarara. So let me just go and talk to Atamarara so that he can teach me how to do these things. Have the audacity. Don't be scared. Like Shirinani was what? Oh, Ata is presenting well. Let me go there. The moment Panunzi, people, let's network, have the confidence, go to him and ask him, you know what, how do you do this? Can I have your contact? Hi, say, how are you? What, up until you guys can now chat. And then they put you under their network. Before you know it, you're actually one of them. So it is important to make sure that you're not scared to connect to those people. I also said mentors may come in the form of a person and also may come in form of books. Some people may not be good at, like maybe you are an introvert, you're not very good at, mingling with people and all, but you're a good reader. There's nothing wrong in thinking, you know what, I'm somebody who wants to, I'm pursuing finance or something like that, right? And I'm not really good at, getting a mentor physically. So what I can do is maybe I can look for Robert Kiyosaki and make him my mentor and start going through his books, see how, because people, you can see the visual and the mind of a person through the books that they've written. So the more you read about him, the more you get the picture of the person, and the more you begin to appreciate how you're supposed to apply certain principles. So books are very important. I don't know in Zemo if we now have the habit of reading, but I've realized it's something that is of a struggle. It's something of a struggle. When I'm talking of a habit of reading, I'm not saying one book a month. I'm talking of at least 4 books a month. At least. At least. And it's because as much as you're engraving that information and then you commit yourself to applying, I'm telling you, you'll never be the same. You'll never be the same. So, like I was explaining, when you get somebody and strive to be better than them, always strive to be better than your mentor. Because you wouldn't want a situation whereby our society is moving from bad to worse. You would want a situation whereby we are moving from better to best, right? So at least if you get somebody who's willing to mentor you, strive to have a double portion. I love Elisha from the Bible. I want the double portion of your anointing. That was to Elijah. That should be your zeal when you get a mentor. Get the double portion of your mentor so that at least you become better and you can also groom better, right? Because the world as it is evolving, it also needs better humans. So if we don't change with the evolution of the internet and the AI and the what, hey, we are in for a trouble. So the fourth point is disconnect yourself from negative people and environment. So this particular one is very, very critical because, you know, there are people, as long as you are pursuing something great and you surround yourself with people who can tell you, or maybe they might not tell you you cannot do it, but they'll be telling you, my life is very difficult. They are talking about their life, but they are infecting a negative energy on you. You also begin to think in the same way that they think, that your life is difficult, even when you know that you can break through. So it is important to ensure that you connect yourself with people that are positive. And also environment is also critical. I know a lot of us start kure, right? If you see kuti mugeto munomu neshamwari dzangu hazvikundiitira, push for a better environment. Pamwe kwaunozoti kure a bit secluded but kunokuita kuti ukure, because environment yakakosha. Even muma offices chamo you realize kuti the moment you move from an office that was crowded with toxic people and you go to an office in even very uplifting, your life changes totally. So whatever environment, I'm just using this as examples, whatever environment, make sure if you can't move out of the environment, it's necessary to pretend to be quiet. Because it will actually help you to not take in whatever it is that they may say to you. Okay, I think. So I'll take the last one, which says great things are achieved by being resilient. If you cannot be resilient in your pursuit for greatness, the journey for success will likely break you down instead of making you break through. Resilience, I think, you know, you're sending mana kuchikoro, you don't have a proper job that will give you money. So what do? You can walk as far as 5 kilometers selling milk so that your child can go to school, because you've got this faith that if the child gets to school and is well educated, he's going to get a good job and he's going to look after me. That's the goal that you're targeting. It's like you're seeing gold on top of a mountain and you're thinking, okay, I'll do what it takes. Gold. I'll do it. So that's resilience. The pathway to greatness or the pathway to achieving your dreams will not be that easy. It will require you to fight, because you meet challenges in the way. You meet obstacles, you meet discouragements. But what is important is for you to be resilient, right? Even family members can come and tell you what idea it doesn't make sense. Whatever you're saying, nobody has ever done what you're saying and has become successful in life. So it takes your conviction and your resilience to fight those negative voices. Amen, Mary. All right, be consistent. I love this wheel. We all know this Ferris wheel. Okay, let's say it's at the level where you can be able to push it. Do you know it might take you, let's say it might take you 1 hour to do the first push. Then possibly it will take you 55 minutes to do the second push. But if you continue pushing and pushing and pushing, it will start spinning. There will come a point where it will start spinning. And when it starts spinning, it will become easier for you to push because it's now helping you. So what am I saying? I'm saying that every effort, every little effort that you put when you are pursuing your dreams is very critical. It is very important because it will ensure that your future, the coming of the dream becomes much easier. So normally the first steps might be the difficult ones, but as you continue consistently, you will get there, you will push it, and it will spin. So there are 4 books that I would want you to invest in. Please promise me 1 month you're going to read this. Okay, these ones, they all highlight the issue of being consistent. So if you check Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, then you look for The Slight Age by Jeff Olson, then you look for Atomic Habits by James Clear, and also look for Good to Great. I love the last one. AIM, especially if you're a business person. This book is dynamic. Good to Great. Yes, by Jim Collins. It's very, especially if you're pursuing business. This one is a great book. It's a must read because it teaches you how to move from being just a good company to becoming a great company that can actually enjoy its profits or its benefits for more than 15 years. So you need to look for it and read it, and you tell me, sure, this book is amazing. So all of this, they would try they're trying to highlight. You know, when we talk of compound effect, we're talking of things that are done consistently until, you know, if it's compound. So do it. Then do it, continue to do it consistently until you're able. Until you're able. You will reach a breakthrough, trust me. Oh, I think times I'm going to get that. So I was saying I used to be a culprit at diversification, but then I had to learn. So I've got an upcoming book called The Mindset Shifter. So you can take my details. I'll launch it before the year ends. So I'm hoping could tip and no relauncher. I'll see these faces there. Thank you.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful, Coach Yvonne. Thank you so much for a powerful presentation. Do we have questions? Questions. We are all good. Did you learn something? Sure. Anzi.
Yeah, sure, Anzi. I'm going to confuse her.
Yes, Anzi. Yes.
These are also negative things, negative people. In Zimbabwe specifically, it's not what sports are now. The negative. I think I have potential, but I'm not supposed to around last year.
Yeah.
But I'm not from a business, you know, one of us about my degree. But I'm not Zimbabwe.
That's true. That's true. You have to disconnect yourself from negative people or environment. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what I actually want to say is when you mentioned that it's good to do things that you're passionate about because it's effortless and the results are good.
Yes.
But looking at our economy, like you then tend to, you want money, you want to survive. So my question is, yes, you pursue what you enjoy doing, but maybe it's not really bringing money such that you tend to ignore or to close that door instead to do something you think will, you know, you get money from.
Cut you, boy.
Okay, I think I've talked about negative voices. I hope that's not a negative voice speaking. All right, your point is very good. That it's you who asked. Okay, your point is very good that people want to consider what is it that is much better given the economy. But also, can I ask you, Chimi, if you understand Chinchinonzi being fulfilled, it's very important. fulfillment is very important above all other things. What maybe I can propose, say you are in such a situation, you know, I'm passionate about this. Do you go to work? And you are passionate about your work?
Not really.
Okay. You go to work. I'll give you an example. I speak a lot with Arthur Marara. Arthur Marara is a speaker and he's so passionate about it, very passionate about it, but he's also a lawyer by profession. Yes, he might love his job as a lawyer, but his passion is speaking. So you might have your job for financial security purposes, right? But don't sideline yourself to let go of your passion. Because at the end of the day, you will regret. Ukaita chino, ukaziwoti pani chino chandaida kuita, chandinoda kuita, because passion doesn't go away. So if you know that there is something chandinoda kuita, and you sideline yourself in the pursuit of greener pastures, you will never feel fulfilled. That's why you see a lot of billionaires, they are trying to motivate people. And Oprah pama social media channels doing motivational speaking. And Wayne Johnson, the actor, they are going pama platforms doing motivational speaking, motivating people to pursue their dreams. Why? Because they have realized the importance of doing that. So yes, you can have something. I'm not saying focus on one thing, but let that passion be something that you pursue. I'm passionate about writing and speaking, but I'm a consultant. I do Kanban Reg. But in the strength the moment I break through speaking, engagement, and writing, and become somebody, a lot out of that, I can simply leave business consultants and pursue this. So don't sideline your passion. You can do both things, but make sure that your passion is still there. It's still not being ignored. I don't know the answer. Okay.
Wow. Thank you so much, Coach Yvonne, for that. Anyone with a question again? We are all good. All right, yes.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
My name is Emma and it's my first time. So I'm really thankful to be here. And I just want to add a little bit to what Coach Yvonne said concerning what answering Mina you said. Or you were just saying Mina. Okay. So basically what happens is that when you eventually know who you want to become, and then when you tell yourself that I am a teacher, so what you do is you start venturing into teaching. So you can be a primary teacher, but yet you are qualified enough to be a secondary teacher. But when you're a qualified teacher and then you don't get the job, what you can do is to try to find ways that you can play around in the fields that you are qualified in. You are a teacher, you can't find a job, but you can open a preschool and still teach. You can be, okay, let me just stick to that one. And then, when you open a preschool, you are teaching, but you're in the same line of your calling. So what the speaker was trying to say about not skipping into one boat to the next one, because the moment you don't stick to your calling, because remember that calling and gift lines along with what God has given you and what God has aligned you in. So if God said you are a teacher, no matter how far you run to be a farmer, eventually you come back.
Exactly.
So at some point, many people, I think we've all been there. You run away from your calling, but eventually you find yourself coming back. But then if you look at the time that you've run away, it's been like 10 years, 5 years. So if you think of, okay, if I just give a little bit more faith, where would I be today? But then there is no time in setting again. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not too late to start again. But all you can do is, the more you want to jump into another opportunity because of economic solutions, right? Just try to jump into something that's aligned with your economy, right? Because, right, you might be a certified coach. You don't know how it's going to be paying, but you can start doing other things, running around coaching, coming back. And that can actually pay you. Because the more you jump into something you're not qualified into, you're just going to do it for that time, but it's going to lapse. And then again, you jump into buying chickens, it's going to lapse. You're going to be doing this, it's going to lapse. But when you just stick to the thing that you know best, and then you focus on it, put more energy, find plan B around it. I always say to people, if you don't like the situation you're in, always find an escape plan while you're in it. Don't find an escape plan when you're already out, because you're just jumping into a sinking. So I think to answer you, just adding up, she did answer you very correctly. But I just think that to motivate you is that if you want to do something else, do something that's in line with what you want to be. Because you can say, I want to be a coach, or I want to be a teacher, but at the end of the day, you are seen out there stealing money from people, because that's what's making money. It's going to tarnish the calling as well. So whatever you do it in respect of your future tomorrow, because you know you are going to go back to calling. If you are a lawyer and then you wake up, you say, no, because I haven't opened a law firm, so I have to find a plan to survive, to take care of my kids and, my family. So what else can I do? What's making money? It's money changing. You're a lawyer, you take off every day, you go into the street, you start doing money changing. What's the next thing? You're going to be caught by the police, taken to jail. And then now, tomorrow when you're out there, finally they go, okay, fine. Because at some point, we all come back to, you know what? Let me just focus on who I am. So when you come back now, what you have been doing is not going to affect the person you wanted to be. You are a lawyer, but then you've been doing money changing, you've been stealing money from people, and then you're caught, you're taken to jail. But when you come back now, you're now a convict at jail. So I think it's just that it's about playing around what you do, playing around what you like doing, who you are.
Yeah, that's true. Can you please clap? Thank you so much, Emma. I think she also needs a day off. She's a speaker. Wow, that's good. All right. So right now I'm going to read the profile of Coach Yvonne, because I did in the Peptanga. So those who want to know Coach Yvonne, she is a mind transformative coach, a first runner-up emotional intelligent coach of the year 2023, second runner-up inspirational coach of the year 2023, a founder of Excel Plus Incorporated, a founder of the Mindset Code, an author of 3 books. So in which for the third one, wow. An author of 3 books, The Dosage, Harmony is the Answer, and The Mindset Shifter. And she's also a speaker and an entrepreneur. So thank you so much, Coach Yvonne, for the presentation. We have learned a lot. Thank you so much for that. I think we are all good, right? So I want to thank you all for coming. This marks the end of our session today. So right now, I want to say we do this ETE Talks every Thursday from 5 to 6. So you are all welcome. It's for free. You can come with someone else. Tell somebody. Also come with somebody. So right now, can you please come to the front and we take some pictures for memories.